Cool. I'm just getting everything set up, and then I'll do the screen share, and are we doing cameras and all that good stuff?
I mean, if we can, people probably want to see your face, Mikey.
Okay, I guess.
Everyone, look, we're all human beings. You know, none of us are. That is the one unfortunate element of this profession is you think that because, you know, I remember Mikey, remember the first time we actually saw each other face to face. It was like, ooh, that's what they look like. So
It's true.
I am going to mute and cede control and knowledge
Cool.
to Mikey.
I was gonna say I also have my face in my presentation as well, so you'll see some live video and stills. Yeah, so let me figure out the screen share. Or am I already doing it?
You aren't doing it yet, but I can. You have co-host abilities, so just at the bottom it should allow you to share your screen.
Does everybody see that right there?
No. I only see your face going closer and closer to the camera.
Let's
like
do
this.
that. I know.
There it is.
Have to, I only have this on one screen right now. So, okay. Can you see the screen right now?
Yep, you are good to go.
Perfect. Alrighty. So, yeah, my name is Mikey. I'll talk a little bit about myself, then get into my presentation, all that good stuff. I do have dogs, so I'm sure at some point you'll hear those. Usually, like whenever I'm doing something like this, it's like the one time FedEx delivers a package or something, and then there's just barking for 5 minutes straight. But let's get started. Let's move that out of the way so everybody can see that right there.
Yes.
Cool. Alrighty. So first, let's talk about me, in case you don't know who I am. So my name is MikeyW, coming out of just outside of Boston. I live in Framingham, Massachusetts right now. I moved back from Colorado last year. So I've been in sourcing for a little over 8 years now. Got my start in RPO. I've worked corporate. I've worked agency. I'm back in RPO right now. I've hired for banking, ag equipment manufacturing, veterinary industry, dairy manufacturing. I work for the largest mozzarella manufacturer in the world out in Colorado. I've done tech, and currently I'm working for a global pharma leader, a diabetes care management company. I write for SourceCon, spoke there in the winter session, SOSUV last year, doing HRTX and SourceCon coming up. So register for those as well, check them out. And a little more about me. Here's pretty much what I do outside of sourcing, is hang out these dudes right here. So this is my son, Reed. He's turning 1 in October. 12-year-old pug, Japanese chin mix, Jaeger over here. 2-year-old Pekingese, that's just what his face looks like. And that is my 2-year-old Whitaker, guinea pig. So that's a little bit about me and my background. Today, we're going to talk about references, referrals and references. I was going to do like a Webster dictionary kind of thing. But yeah, so I'll just kind of put it the way that I put it. Pretty simple. We know what these are anyway. Referrals are when somebody recommends an acquaintance to an opening. References are when somebody lists an acquaintance that will recommend them for something. So they're both pretty similar, referrals and references. References can be referrals, and I think vice versa. And basically that's what we're going to go over in this presentation, is we're just going to talk about different strategies of how to kind of drive those towards your company. Basically, it's just another way to get hires. We all use Indeed and LinkedIn and Open Web and our CRM and our ATS. I had read somewhere recently that referrals make up for 70% of hires at companies. I don't know if that's actually true. That seems pretty high, but that could be these days. Anytime I'm talking to a friend who's applying for a role, I just tell them to find a friend at your top company, and from there go and have them find you a job at that company. Whenever I'm looking for a job, I apply, of course, but I'm also out there more just talking to my first connections on LinkedIn. I'm more connecting with people on Facebook and saying, hey, is your company hiring? Do you know of something? That is how you get in the door. Most things I'm going to say are pretty subjective or case by case, so don't quote me on them. But I will say this is, if a company is hiring and they've kind of gone through their internals and promoted from within kind of people already, I like to say that referrals can get in the door faster next. So if a company has 20 new applicants over the weekend, and then somebody at that company is like, hey, I want to refer my friend, their friend can get in the door probably a little bit faster than those applicants, because companies say, hey, I trust Mikey. Mikey's doing a good job here. You know, he's referring somebody. He must, you know, he's going to bat for them. I think that he would be a good person to refer people. Let's take a look at their resume first. So just think about it in every way. If you're looking for a new job, become a referral. If you are at a company, see who you can help get in the door for that company. So who can be a referral? Anybody. It can be it can be an employee, a former employee. It can be a LinkedIn connection. It can be a neighbor. It can be anyone, or it can be everyone. See what I did there? So basically anybody. I mean, think about it that way. It doesn't have to just be like, you know, somebody that's very close to you. You know, if you have a neighbor who's looking for a job and you can help them find a job, you know, refer them to your company. And this is more to think about in terms of talent acquisition. So to everybody here who is in talent acquisition, let me just see what it pulls up here. So to every, so there's two different kind of referrals that you can drive for in your company. There's internal referrals, which is where you're going to your colleagues, your direct colleagues, and you're saying, who do you guys know? Who can you help bring into this company? So you go to somebody outside of talent acquisition. Maybe you're good friends with the maintenance people. You're good friends with vice president of sales. You go to them and you say, who do you know that can help fill these vacant roles here? And you kind of drive them to refer people to the company. Usually there's some pretty easy places to refer through the careers page, or when somebody applies, they'll say, have you heard of this job? They can put that colleague's number or information down. My biggest thing is just make sure that your company has some sort of internal referral strategy in place. People want incentives. There's no doubt about that. People want incentives these days. People aren't going to do a lot of things just for the heck of it. You know, if they have some friends who are really looking for a job, then yeah, they're going to help whether or not there's, you know, a monetary value at the end of it. But I would say definitely get an internal referral thing set up at your company. It can be $500 for the lower level roles, up to $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. You know, I think Steve talked a little bit about what it costs to hire each person, and that's such a subjective kind of thing, of course. However, you know, if you can get a referral to refer somebody and you give them a couple hundred, couple $1,000s, you are probably going to save a decent amount of money that way, not putting that money towards other things. So, you know, talk to your company, see if there's an internal referral strategy. If there's not, be the person that sets it up. Figure out how you can do that. Figure out how you can reward your employees for helping them help you fill roles. Internal referrals continued. I've done this before at companies. Make flyers, print up flyers, hang them around your office, show people what they can do with that referral fee money. I just got a Lazy Boy this past weekend. Very exciting. That's not my house though. But Lazy Boy, show them a picture of that. Show them a picture of post-COVID world. Groupon has a lot of like really cool $1,000 destinations. Go to Italy for 10 days. So you can show them that. Show them that with the referral fees, they can pay off credit card debt. They can do this, they can do that. You know, really do that and kind of drive that with your internal teams at your company. Show them what they can do with that referral. Sometimes it's just kind of leaving the breadcrumbs. It's just kind of introducing people and saying, hey, you know, for $1,000, you know, we have this referral fee. Did you know that for $1,000 you can do this? And then people are like, oh, okay, well, a little more interested now. External referrals, a little bit harder to get if you want to like set up a strategy around this for a fee. It's much harder to reward your internal employees for referring people. If your company can do an external referral program, I definitely recommend that as well. That is basically where anybody can recommend anybody to your company. And if somebody gets hired, that person gets some kind of fee for it. So if I'm working for a company and I post, hey, I'm looking to hire a scientist for this role, and just a random LinkedIn connection of mine at another company refers their friend and their friend gets hired, then that person who is the referee, that person will then get a fee. So it's just another kind of strategy to drive and bring more people to your company that way. Like I said, it's harder to do with externals Sometimes you can just give them a gift card. Sometimes if you give them a monetary value, you have to really work with your legal team and different compensation, all of that. It can be a lengthy thing, but it can definitely help. If you get 1, 2, 3 hires this way a year, it can definitely work and pay off. So my biggest thing is I'm always asking for referrals. So if I reach out to somebody and they say, hey, Mikey, I'm not interested at this time, sure, I archive the message, I update them in my CRM, I say, have a great week, thanks for getting back to me, but I always ask them, who do you know? Once again, just kind of asking those questions and kind of like digging a little bit can be helpful. Hey, who do you know? I don't know anybody, Mikey. Can you think of anybody from your previous companies, your neighbors, your college alumni? Can you think of anybody? Well, actually, now that you ask, now I'm thinking about it, and I saw a post from my old roommate, and he's looking for a new role. So breadcrumbs, just kind of lead people to that. A fun approach. I ran this at one of my previous companies, and I think it's a fun approach to do for the heck of it. You basically say, hey, do you want to make $500 for saying 2 names? That right there is just like, wait, I can say 2 words and make $500 for it. So that's a strategy you can set up for external referrals or internal referrals. Make it easy, make it simple. Say, hey, I'm not asking you to fill out a form and get me their resume and have them apply, and I'm not asking you to interview them. I'm just saying, can you give me 2 names, a first name and a last name of somebody who would be a good fit for this? Because you can make $500. That's a pretty cool way to, make some extra money. You can also drive this around holidays. Hey, want to make some extra money for presents or even for yourself, treat yourself to something? Let's get some referrals. A big no-no, never ask for referrals on your initial outreach. That's something I strongly believe in. You want people to feel valued in your first message. So, you never want to say, hey, I'm looking for a software engineer with a focus in React. Are you interested, or do you know anyone who might be? That does not make the person really feel special. What you're saying right there is, hey, do you have anybody for me if you're not interested? I'm looking to fill this role, and I don't care who it is. Just help me find somebody. So hold off on asking for referrals. That's a big thing. Wait for them to say, hey, Mikey, just started this new role. I'm super happy here. Hey, Mikey, not a good fit. And then you can say, hey, always happy to hear people are happy where they are. Do you know of anybody at this point? Don't be afraid to ask current candidates for referrals. So if you're working on high volume roles, it can be a little bit touchy. You have a candidate come in for a role, and then as they're interviewing, you say, hey, who else do you know? They might think, oh, am I going to be referring my competitors? Let them know, hey, we're looking to hire a bunch of production supervisors. While you're interviewing, who else do you know? Who else from your company would you love to bring over and work alongside? That's a great way to kind of get more people in the door, is have them bring people over. Who do you know from your previous companies that you think would be good here as well? A lot of people, when they're leaving a company, don't want to leave their colleagues. It's a big thing that is holding them back. See if they want to bring their colleagues with them. Of course, if there's a non-compete, you got to find out about that. If your candidate mentions they're getting laid off, have them connect you with their employees, their colleagues. They say, oh, we're going through a layoff. I'm so happy you reached out to me right now, Mikey. Say, hey, who else is getting laid off there? Let me help all you people getting laid off to, transition into the door here. When you find out about the layoffs happening, a great way to get some referrals is reach out to the HR people at that company. Some people are afraid of doing this, and I get that. That can be a little awkward, but, go find out who the HR or sourcer or recruiter is over at that company, employee relations, and say, hey, I recently read in the news that you guys are going through some layoffs over there. Is there anything I can do to kind of, help transition people over here? Those people in HR, they're going to want to work with you. They don't want to be laying people off. They don't want to be, sending people home and saying, hey, good luck out there. They want to be able to now transition them right into another role, and it takes the stress out of everybody. Hiring managers and teams. I'll do a quick example of this after, but yeah, when a new role opens, ask your hiring manager who they might know. Sure, they might come to you and say, why are you asking me to do the hiring? But dig a little bit, say, who do you know from your previous companies? A lot of the time, somebody comes from a competitor to their current company. to say, who do you know from that other company? Who do you know that would be great for this role? You know, kind of give them a little bit of guidance, you know, have them drive the referral fee across their team as well. You know, you're hiring for a PLC person, ask all of your PLC technicians who they might know. Have them do a little bit of digging, because that could help you fill a role as well. A neat tip and trick is to kind of help these people do that is you don't need to teach them Boolean or how to run LinkedIn. What you do is you create a LinkedIn search real quickly. You filter down to first connections, you copy the URL and you send that to the team. And now anybody who opens that link, that will be brought to their own first connections. So it's kind of a nice way just to kind of give them it and say, hey, you know, here are your first connections. See if there's anybody on there that would be good. Train your colleagues on Boolean if they are interested. Run a training, very voluntary, don't make it mandatory. Run a training and say, hey, who wants to learn a little bit of Boolean that you can use in your outside life? Who wants to learn how to do Boolean and have some fun with it? And while you're at it, search your LinkedIn, search your connections, search your network. And, you know, with learning this, you can then use that and, you know, make a little bit extra money with our referral fee at our company. And then really one of the last things here is references. So references on a resume are a really great extra way to source and find people. I know for me, most of the industries I've worked in like manufacturing, you know, things like that, you're always looking at multiple different roles. So if I'm hiring a PLC technician, I'm also hiring an automation engineer and a manager of automation. If I'm hiring a veterinarian, I might also be hiring a vet tech and a vet assistant and a practice manager. So if you think about it, if you go into your ATS and you look at a production supervisor, they're going to be listing under their references their production manager. They might be listing other production supervisors who are going to put in a good word for them. Find their information. Usually they're going to list their home numbers in there, their cell phone numbers. Now you're working on one role, but you're getting different names for different roles. You can also use that word references in your search, which I'll show you as well. How much time do we have left here?
You have 12 minutes. You're good, Mikey.
12. Oh, wow. Okay. I'll go slow then. Perfect. So over here, let me say, this is the first thing we talked about is on here, what you can do is production supervisor and lean. So if you're looking for somebody who's a lean production supervisor, you copy and paste that link right there. And then you're going to send that over to your team, to your hiring manager, to anybody else and say, you have nothing to do but open up this link. When you open up this link, it's then going to narrow down to all of your first degree connections, and then you can, you know, refer those people. So what you'll want to do is you want to run the search, type in people, type in first connections, show results, hit copy, hit paste. A lot of times people don't know how many people they're already connected to. Just kind of, you know, help them out a little bit, guide them there. References. So this is something that you can definitely do in your ATS. You can do in your CRM. You can also do in Google as well, or Open Web, or anything you would like. So for me, if I'm looking up some resumes on Indeed, or I mean on Google Images, let's see, you can go over to tools, you can go to color, of course, black and white. That will narrow it down to mostly just resumes. So my search here was in URL resume, show me a couple resumes, show me any resumes with the word references and cell or mobile or home. That way you can find not just reference names, but actual reference names with contact information. I did production supervisor. I, as always, took out sample examples. And then I also took out request. You'll notice that most people, I believe, on the resume at the very bottom say references available upon request. With that being said, my kind of biggest piece of advice is take that out of the search. Have them just show you actual references. So I can open up a couple here. I just want to show you what some of these will look like. So this resume here, you get to the end. So Marshall is a manufacturing person. He gave the contact information for the owner of Strubble Manufacturing. He also gave some other contact information for these people. You know, so you just open up the different resumes, take a look at what they have on there. Most of them are going to be listed at the end of the resume. So this person gave the CEO of Clave Manufacturing, the operation managers for a company, the VP and general manager of Wire Company. So this is just another way to kind of, I guess, go for two birds with one stone. If I'm working on a production supervisor and a production manager role, I'm going to type in production supervisor, type in references. And now if you look here, with this one person, this one production supervisor that I just found, I also now have the cell phone number of two of their colleagues who are production supervisors at either their current company or older company. Always check that number. Just make sure that they didn't leave their work number in there or leave the number to the gatekeeper at the company. If they did, feel free to call. I'm just saying, don't be blindsided. Run a quick search of that. Run a quick search of Bill, see where Bill is right now, see if he's still with that company, and just kind of go from there. So that is, the different kind of live ways of doing that. And the biggest piece of advice I would say is just as much as possible, always ask for referrals as much as you possibly can. AAFR. If somebody says that they're not interested, just, send them the talent community, ask for referrals, give them your LinkedIn link to connect with you, and make sure that you, are networked for the future and can always be driving referrals. Do we have any questions?
Sorry, I was on mute the whole time. I don't see any questions coming in. Does anybody from the chat have any questions? Facebook is cleared as well as Zoom. Because if not, we can just get started.
Thank you,
Yes,
Sabrina.
Yeah, so this is all being recorded and it's live too. If all the panelists are fine with sending out their questions that they have, if all panelists are fine with sending out their presentations that they have, we will definitely send them out. Somebody did ask you a question, Mikey. Mikey, can we use MS Forms for references?
What is that? Microsoft?
I believe so. Yeah, you can see it in the question and answer chat. Yes, so yes, it is Microsoft.
Let's see. Where's that question? Huh. I don't see it for some reason.
Yeah.
To answer it, I don't know. That's a great question. For me, so I've definitely put together these strategies at companies. I've worked with the external strategies that weren't in place. But for me, really, it's all about working with like your legal department and stuff. For me as a sourcer, I work a lot more in the CRM than the ATS. So as far as forms go, I am not great with how that kind of works. So, it's an ends justify the means kind of thing. That this can definitely take a little while to implement these strategies at your company. Like I said, you got to work with legal and compensation and figure out how to do all of these different things. But definitely set up meetings with them. Run some numbers. Talk about how other companies have actual referral teams and referral departments and how strong referrals are these days. So that's a big thing is every company is going to be a little bit different legally how they do it and forms and all of that, but definitely meet with your team, set up training, set up strategies, and just kind of learn the best ways to do it. But I would say look in your ATS and see how they kind of work with referrals.
Okay, awesome. Steve is also being an advocate for me in the chat right now. Also, I should probably turn on my screen so you can see me. Yeah, there's no other questions that are that are coming up on my end. We will definitely share out all this recording and it'll be on our website and all that fun stuff. Oh, there's another question, Mikey. They asked, I was thinking of MS Forms as a secondary replacement for a chatbot alternative. What's your advice on that?
So is this for driving referrals or just like putting together flyers, or is this for,
waiting for them to clear a referral response.
Cool. I don't know why I can't see it. I think I can only see the chat between the hosts.
Yep.
Okay.
Here, I'm sending it to you right now. The question that they asked.
Chatbot. Oh, okay. So that is just to drive anybody, I guess, to it. Chatbot, yeah, chatbot alternative. I'm sure plenty of companies work with those with referrals. I think that's pretty good too. But yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. When you start this strategy, don't expect an overflow of things coming in. You're not going to see a ton, and that's something you can kind of let the team know there that you're working on, is that, you know, as the strategy goes live, you're not going to see like, you know, you're most likely not going to be paying out tens of thousands of dollars in the first couple months of referrals and things like that. That would be great, and you're still probably going to be saving money and hiring in that way. But for that, I would say, you know, just do it simple at first. Do it simple. Use whatever, I guess, forms and everything like that that, you know, your company operates in with the ATS and all of that. And you know, like I said, I've not done a lot of the tech and legal part of this, so just work with the right people and just make sure that you can do it properly that way. Excuse me. I think that's my answer for that.
Awesome. Okay, there's no other questions. So what I will do is I'll give Brittany 5 minutes so that she doesn't have to worry about running into the 20 minutes. But thank you so much, Mikey. We really appreciate it. We will send out Mikey's slide deck once we are done with all of this. And so now